What's up, guys? Look at that Granada, looking so good. I was sitting here playing a game just casually as Granada, and it started out with the intention to sort of show you guys an opening move strategy. But very often I encounter a scenario where it's very difficult to actually... I mean, it turns into a let's play scenario. So instead, what I'm going to do is go ahead and upload a shorter video where I do give you guys what I think is a nice strategic tip, which is very applicable here as Granada. But if we go ahead and firstly just explore my little empire here, you can go ahead and see that we've gone colonial mode. I have Peru, La Palat, Brazil, essentially. They all have funny kind of Moroccan, I guess, and how do you pronounce it? Andalusian names. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. We can see we've got Morocco, Cuba, and I'm working on California, and I'm working on Alaska as well, for that matter. My intention, of course, is to be the Iberian power, so my priority was everything to send trade into Sevilla. With that being said, I wanted to show you guys the fact that finally I can form Andalusia. I cannot pronounce these names for the life of me, but we finally did it. And yeah, I wanted you guys to see the glory, but beforehand, if we quickly go ahead and look at the timeline, my first opening move was to attack Tlemcen. I apologize if that's not how you pronounce the name, but we used Tunis against him, and we didn't give Tunis any land, which therefore broke our alliance. We had Morocco as an ally, and that's it, and my intention was to push all the way to get as close as the Ottomans as I could, while improving relations as much as I could to grab that alliance. Funnily enough, I didn't get it. I attempted this before, and I was able to flip the Ottomans to friendly. In this case, I was sitting here just with Morocco with an ally and feeling really vulnerable to Castile. I actually went in against the Mamelukes because the Ottomans were attacking them. I felt like that was an opportunity to expand here. And then right then we actually got attacked by Castile. I couldn't believe it. I thought the game was over, but I actually murked myself into oblivion after taking a billion loans. And unfortunately I couldn't beat him, but I did manage to take some land from Portugal, which therefore undermined my relationship with Morocco. I had 1,000 loans. I thought I was completely bankrupt. I blew up our corruption to pay off some of those loans. But fortunately, from Castile, unfortunately, I couldn't take any land when I did defeat him with mercs. But I was able to take war reparations and cash to help our pathetic economy. By now, I was colonizing and grabbed this little colony here. And I think, as far as expansion, I did very little else. Despite my geographic size, these provinces are all large and they're worth 3 base tax, which is completely pathetic. Which means, despite our size, I was actually much weaker than Tunis and Morocco, both of which my relations were destroyed and they were rivaling me. But I did have the great Ottoman Empire as an ally to back me up, so I was feeling good on defensive wars. With that being said, as well as my economy being in the pits due to loans, I did make a colony here and gobble up the few nations which are around this region, stealing their money, helping us with our poor economy, although our economy was still in the pits because of how expensive colonies are. I also, we can see here that the other Iberians were grabbing North Africa, or West Africa rather, but I did manage to grab the trade province, which I thought was quite cheeky. And then I went ahead and soon here I attacked this nation and tried to expand further. I also expanded into Mexico, and the main reason was I was looking at any nations that I could actually see at the time due to fog of war in order to steal their money to pay off my loans. Absolutely cool game. That's basically the gist of it. Throughout the whole game I was struggling. So you can see here I won over on Morocco, and at that point where I actually took Lisbon from Portugal, what happened was Castile was brought into the Protestant League Wars, the League Wars over the empire, And for the first time, his war exhaustion was so high that he would not back up Portugal, and we managed to 1v1 him. And at this point, with Lisbon, I was the most influential in this trading region, which now in 1550 or so was finally becoming very valuable with the existence of these West Indies nations, Mexico and Brazil and so on, Granada. And then, yeah, I continue on to just chill and colonize, take some small victories here and there. We took this from Portugal as well. I tried to take his islands and so on, which were in the Ivory Coast region, so that we would get the merchant from dominating this trade node. And that's about it. We finally eventually bet Castile, took this province, further securing or solidifying our strength over Sevilla, and one final victory there in the end, which is allowing me to actually hit this sweet, sweet button. But I just want to throw it out there that this was a real struggle the entire time. I feel like this is a very hard nation to play. And I did take a kind of indirect approach of being very defensive and expanding outside of the target area, which is Iberia, in order to acquire the achievement. So I just want to throw it out there. Sometimes I know I'm capable of, or it's not exactly my intention, but I make difficult things look easy. If that is the case here, I just want to stress that this was a very stressful, hard game, and it's only really recently that our colonies have paid off dramatically. We're getting tons of money from our colonies, whereas, of course, for about 100 years there, they were a massive investment, which was costing me money that I couldn't really afford. Of course, I think this nation is so cool. I personally am accepting Berber, and with that in mind, I've converted a lot of the region to Berber, and we will continue to accept that culture as we push onwards. My intention is to conquer all of Africa and South America, as well as Mexico, California, and Alaska. The achievement is to acquire the Iberian Peninsula, including these islands like the Canaries. With that being said, this is the first time that I've formed this nation. By the way, you acquire everything here in the south of Spain that I have, as well as one of these two provinces in Portugal, to form this nation. So here we go. Very nice flag. Very nice color. Similar color, which makes our colonies look really nice. I love it. Very cool. We've got South Africa as well, by the way. Very cool. So I'm really enjoying this. I'm going to continue on with this game. By the way, if we look at our force limit, I've got 81 force limit and just an astonishing naval force limit, of course, because of all of our colonies. But I also took a cheeky maritime ideas just for the heck of it. So what's left for me to do is to conquer these 3 islands and slowly but surely take all of the Iberian Peninsula. So yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is kind of just a single player game, just chilling. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to demonstrate to you guys a simple strategy, which I hope benefits you guys. And that's what's coming up right now. Alright guys, so this is the real meat of the video, if you will. What we're going to do here is keep the game paused, and we're going to go ahead and rival up these 2 nations, our 2 options, because they're both good rival options, quite frankly. Now, what I want you to do is look at Tlemcen's his diplomacy, essentially, and what you'll see is usually he is rivaling one of these nations and not another, and vice versa. Now, it is possible that both Morocco and Tunis are rivaling him. I've seen it happen, which means you're in good shape. You don't have to worry about this. But 9 times out of 10, one of them is friendly, whereas the other is rivaling him. We can see here that Morocco is friendly and vice versa. He is friendly with Morocco. What this means is it is almost certain that they will ally each other. So the first move we want to do is rival Tlemcen and then ally the one of 2 nations here who is not rivaling Tlemcen. Now, what we should see, this is not 100% consistent, by the way. The way that this can be undermined is if he also makes the exact same move. We can see that both of our capitals are around the same distance from his capital, which means it will take the same amount of time for emissaries to travel. But we can see that he's messed up essentially with his only option to send his call for an alliance immediately with Morocco, and now, therefore, we have an alliance with Morocco, and Tlemcen will have a negative modifier to allying him because he is allied with his rival. So what we will go ahead and do is declare on Tlemcen as soon as possible. Before the end of the month, we want to begin fabricating. And the reason is because Morocco is friendly, Tlemcen could still acquire him as an ally by improving relations, gaining a royal marriage, and then allying him regardless, simply because of his attitude towards Tlemcen. Now, what I would go ahead and do in this game is ally Tunis. This is the same opening move I made in my game, and what I would do personally, I've weighed up the options. You can play it yourself, of course. You do have the option to give Tunis land, but it is kind of inevitable when you knock this target out that one or both of these nations will end up rivaling you because of the lack of rival options that begin to occur, especially if the Iberian wedding happens soon rather than later. So in my opinion, because it's quite likely that your relations will break anyway, what I do is I attack Tlemcen, offering him land, and then I actually do not give any land to Tunis, 100% annexing Tlemcen myself, and then continuing on from there. Of course, trying to reach that sweet, sweet alliance with the Ottomans. If you can acquire Morocco and the Ottomans as allies while you expand as much as you can yourself, you should be in good shape. Lastly, just before I finish this video, I just want to make it clear that might have seemed a little bit lackluster, and I apologize if this is not anything new to those of you who are more advanced. I know this might have seemed a little bit underwhelming, but I hope you guys appreciate this tip nonetheless, because I want it to be clear that if Tlemcen allied Morocco, which he would have done unless we made that exact move, he would now be in a spot where he's allied to Morocco, and we would have no realistic option of expanding into him either, which would mean that we would have no option to expand whatsoever. So this one move basically made our campaign. It gives us the opportunity to expand. The reason I thought that this might be worth uploading, giving you guys a tip like this, is because the same thing can be extrapolated and used throughout the world in different scenarios. Regardless, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks so much for the support on my channel. I love it, and yeah, Happy New Year. Let's have a fantastic 2017. Thank you for watching.